So why don't we jump right into the first big topic of the day, which is, of course, the iPhone 12 being delayed. This was posted by Zeus the Moose on the forum, and Apple has surprisingly, I actually did not really expect them to do this. Apple came out and said, yes, the iPhone 12 will be delayed by a few weeks compared to their normal September timeframe.
What do you think that means? What is a few? Is it 3 weeks? Is it 6 weeks?
I think they're still going to hit September. I'd be very surprised if they don't still hit September. And I think they probably used the term a few weeks so that we would all guess that it'll probably still be in September. Because iPhones launch anywhere from like September I don't think they've ever done it on the 1st, but anywhere from like September the 2nd or 3rd to like the low 10th.
So what? I don't know, though, because check out the rationale. Tell us the rationale.
Sure. So Tim Cook explained during the earnings call that many of the iPhone SE 2020 phones sold were to consumers who had been waiting to upgrade from older devices. Consumer may not be ready to upgrade their flagship mobile devices while stuck indoors and in the midst of economic uncertainty, and it's unclear how a cheaper iPhone released in the middle of the year could impact late-year flagship iPhone sales. Plus, many Apple stores remain closed, with several locations in the US having to reclose after temporarily reopening in July. This has impacted sales of the Apple Watch in particular, as people tend to want to try it on with different bands. Oh, that's very interesting. I bought my Apple Watch totally sight unseen. I said, Matthias, pick the most obnoxious strap in the store and just send me the bill. I wish to have an Apple Watch. That was how the conversation actually went.
Okay. The part about the Apple stores being closed notwithstanding, tell me how these other points are going to change in a few weeks.
Well, I don't think they will.
How is the upgrade cycle or the COVID situation, the economic uncertainty, really going to change within a three-week period?
That's honestly why I don't want to say I don't buy it, because I'm basically accusing him of like, what would be the exact offense? Like securities fraud? Like I'm basically accusing him of misleading investors, because this is on an earnings call.
Oh, you want to know the name of that? You should ask Intel. We'll get to that later.
Got him. Is the lawsuit in here?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
It's a footnote on the TSMC topic.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Good. Anyway, so back to the iPhone. Like, I don't want to accuse Tim Cook of misleading investors, but that seems at best disingenuous. I don't really understand how the kinds of people that line up, right? The kinds of people that are buying an iPhone in the first 2 weeks. I don't imagine I imagine there's two kinds of people that are buying an iPhone within the first 3 weeks, let's say, because he did say a few weeks. You've got your zealots, right? You've got your people who are upgrading every year regardless. For those people, what difference does it make? Honestly. Order online, line up in front of a store. I think they're ordering an iPhone regardless, okay? So you got those guys. Then you've got your desperate to upgrade, people who are still holding on to your iPhone 6S or 6 Plus or 6S Plus or whatever the case may be. And you're like, this is the year.
Fewer of them. They're saying that there's fewer of those people now because of the SE 2020.
Which is fair. But what I'm saying is the people who buy an iPhone in the first 3 weeks, I think, fall into mostly those two groups. I mean, obviously, there's going to be the randoms that just wander into a Verizon store and like, oh, really? There's a new iPhone? You don't say. Well, sure. I guess I'll get the new one instead of the old one. What do I care? I'm a professional surfer, dude. Like I just surf. I get paid so much money to surf. Like there's going to be people who actually don't know about a new iPhone or whatever and just randomly buy a brand new iPhone. But I just think mostly we're falling into those two camps. And I'm supporting your point. I can't argue against that. I think either of those two camps is going to be completely unaffected by 3 weeks, one way or the other. I think they could launch it on August the 15th, 3 weeks early, or they could launch it on September the 30th, 3 weeks late, and those people would place their orders online or line up or whatever, regardless of the time frame.
The question mark is about group number 2. How many of the people who are waiting to upgrade will upgrade at this moment? They want to maximize that number, and maybe just a few weeks really can make the difference in the COVID, mindset, the psychology of COVID, as soon as things start opening up, you're kind of like, hey, things are back to normal. My business is back to normal. Maybe I can get a new phone now. So maybe a matter of a few weeks could make the difference.
I like the word psychology there, because maybe this is less about the psychology of the actual consumer and more about the psychology of the investor. I mean, they did just do that 4-to-1 stock split. And maybe the point or maybe what they're trying to achieve here, because mobile phone sales have been slipping. This is not an Apple trend. This is an industry-wide trend. People are getting to the point now where phones, it's kind of like how what is it, a mayfly that has like a 1-day life cycle? Do you know about this? Do you hear about this?
I don't know the specifics, but I'm aware.
Is it the mayfly that has a 1-day life cycle?
I don't know.
Don't say blah blah blah. There's many members of a group of animals known as 1-day insects. The short and frenzied mating period for which the insect is known follows. Okay, fascinating, wonderful snippet there. Thank you, Google search. Anyway, what point was I trying to make? Right. So the psychology from an investment standpoint. So maybe what they're after here is by just delaying. So 3 weeks is going to be, about 6% of a year or something like that, right? 6 or 7% of a year. So maybe if they thought that they were going to launch in early September, which is not really a prime buying season, if you think about it. Like, Apple is sort of unusual in that they just kind of pave their own way. They blaze their own trail. They go, okay, we launch products in September. Everyone else is like, hey, we got to hit the back to school rush. In the computer world anyway, that's what everyone's trying to hit. Everyone's announcing their products in June at Computex. If you're Intel or you're AMD, and then the actual shipping product, you're trying to hit that August. That August timeframe when people are back to school shopping, because a new phone is totally something that could be in someone's, back to school toolkit these days. Or you're trying to hit the holiday rush, right? And that's pretty much starts in the lead up to Black Friday, I would say. So Apple has positioned themselves in actually kind of no man's land, if you think about it. Early to mid-September is too late for back to school and too early for the holiday rush. So maybe what this is Apple looking at this as an opportunity to say, okay, well, sales are going to be a little bit softer than usual at launch. And that is one of the things that they love to talk about at the launch of a new iPhone is like, hey, we sold more of this new iPhone than we've ever sold of any new iPhone before. This is the most popular iPhone ever. They're going to have a real hard time doing that unless they delay the launch to get closer to the frenzied holiday shopping season.
Yeah.
I
I really think it has to do with also the optics of having big lineups outside of the Apple stores. So they're probably just waiting for certain states to open up so that they can open their Apple stores so that they can have big lineups outside. And the physical distancing is just going to make those lineups even longer.
I know, right? That's
They're
hilarious.
Go so far down the block.
I'm willing to bet somewhere like New York, for example, they're going to break a record for like the longest lineup to get in anywhere. It's going to like wrap around the island or something stupid like that.
It could.
That would actually...
It's kind of a hack.
That'd be kind of hilarious. Yeah, it's totally cheating, but it's kind of hilarious. I came up with one other kind of big brain theory for this as well. So it's no secret that in the electronics industry in general, there has been a tendency towards longer product refresh cycles. And in graphics cards and CPUs, we saw this happen really in earnest over the last 5 or 6 years. Like NVIDIA went from launching a new graphics card yearly to every 18 months to when did the RTX 2080 Ti launch again? RTX 2080 Ti
2018
launch.
Right? October 2018?
Yeah, September 2018 for the 2080 Ti. That was by the time they launch a successor, which is rumored to be happening just in time to kind of crap on the next-gen console launch, it will have been 2 years. So these cycles have increased, and we've seen the way that companies like NVIDIA message their products change in that time. So it used to be, back in the day, NVIDIA would compare their new graphics card to their old graphics card. But now, not only do we wait longer for a new generation of product, but a lot of the time, I mean, you see these decks as well. A lot of the time, when they talk about performance uplift, they're looking at performance uplift over a 2-year-old or 3-year-old or 4-year-old product. And what they do is they sort of, they spin this, right? They talk about the average upgrade cycle of their, of gamers, of their customers, as though it's not becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, yeah, gamers are only upgrading every 4 years because you're only delivering 2 graphics card refreshes every 4 years. That's why they used to upgrade every 2 years, and now they're upgrading every 4 years.
Another strategy is to compare to your last year's product, but just compare to a small growing niche of that thing. So what is the Tensor Core performance upgrade? Wow, that's still it has 30% more performance.
That's a good one
AI.
too.
But like nobody really cares about that.
So my new big brain moment is that by delaying it just 3 weeks and using COVID as an excuse, they could experiment with how many more iPhone XS series they could sell and how many more iPhone 11s that they can sell in that 3 weeks. By the way, nice, lttstore.com. How many more they can sell in that 3 weeks and see if, like, what the economics are of stretching out a product life cycle. It's a great little experiment. If they go, oh, wow, this is amazing. People actually don't give 2 hoots about the new iPhone launch. They're just going to buy the crap out of the last gen iPhone right up until the last day. And it's only this, weird tech enthusiast niche that actually cares about this stuff.
Maybe,
that's worthwhile to know. It's good data, if nothing else.
I don't know if it is good data this year, given that the SE 2020 exists.
That's
that
fair.
Kind of confounds everything.
That's fair. It does. So even if you've got extra data, and even if it could, you're right, that's a great word, even if it could confound your other data, confound it.
Foiled again.
I still think it's interesting to know because, the SE launched 6 months ago. So they can just look at it. They can go, okay, well, it was going to launch in early September. Let's do it 3 weeks later. Let's see how many iPhone higher end than the SE we sell in that time. And then let's see what happens on launch day. It's, if nothing else, it's an interesting experiment. And the thing about the explanation that they offer is they've absolutely got plausible deniability. They could say, yep, this is definitely why we're doing it. I just think there's probably internal conversations that went a little bit deeper than this.
So what do you think of the lineup that they're going to be unveiling?
So it's supposed to be 4 iPhone 12 models with all new designs. So what I have to say about that is, thank goodness, because they are overdue. Like
that 10 chassis was pretty ancient looking now. Huge industry leading notch.
It has no industry leading notch. It has not aged well at all. So it's got a souped up A14 chipset, which is supposed to be it's a souped down A14 chipset. A14X is the souped up version of it we're supposed to see in some kind of new MacBook. We're going to get OLED displays on all sizes. And then at the top end, 3D capable triple lens cameras. Also, these will be the first 5G iPhones. Yep. Sounds like new iPhones to me. One of the big ones I saw was the alleged reduction in size of the notch. It's still got a notch in it, so I will still continue to use my Note 9 until there's a better solution, but it definitely looks a lot better. I'm also going to be really interested to see how much they can clean up that bezel that goes all the way around the rest of the phone. Apple was industry leading with their chin size. Yeah, the chin when they launched it on the iPhone X was industry leading. They had this like crazy wraparound display technology so that they could put like the interface for it and the what's the word I'm looking for? Tcon or whatever it is, like the controller for it at the back of this like folded up display inside the phone. Super cool. Amazing, great technology. But then what they did was, in order to give it like a really uniform, beautiful look, they took that as thin as it can be bottom bezel and they made a really thick side bezel even at the time, and it has not aged well at all.
Yeah, they basically look like you've got a D-brand grip on your phone.
Yes.
When it's nude.
Yes. Yeah, I could 100% agree with that.
I'm excited about this 3D capable triple camera setup. Seriously.
if there's anyone that could make stereoscopic 3D go mainstream finally, it's Apple.
Is that what it's for, or is it just for AR? Like, what is it?
I would say it's probably just for AR. But if they have the capability, it sort of raises the question, why not allow you to take stereoscopic photos? Because nobody cares.
Anything can be made. Yeah. Some things have bigger, like, more fun kind of consequences than you think. Like when they announced Animoji, that's the kind of thing where we're like, who cares? What a non-announcement. But you can actually have so much fun with those. And like the comedic value in a group chat. Like I actually do really like that stuff. But the reason I'm excited about better AR is because I see phones that we hold in our hands being probably never that good at AR, but it's a way of getting the technology out there and developed so that it is ready to be on your face eventually.
Absolutely. I'm really interested to see what the rumored Apple Glass ends up looking like. I mean, I don't think anyone disagrees that Google Glass was a great idea, hampered by the hardware just absolutely not being there yet, and Google having the attention span of a flea.
They just bought North.
Did they just buy North?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was a couple months ago, wasn't it?
Devices. No. I think they announced it a little while ago, but the latest news was that all the North devices are no longer going to work. All the like subscription based features aren't going to work anymore. They're Canadian, by the way, Toronto.
Okay.
Which it's so nice that they have a wintry name. What's up with Canada always doing that, man? Especially in TV shows.
Holy crap. North is ex-Thelmic Labs? I didn't realize that. They made
they made the Maya.
That horrible armband, Mio, however, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that thing was horrible. They got acquired for a rumored $180 million.
Good for them.
You know what, James? We're clearly in the wrong business, because we should just be like building weird, stupid prototypes.
I thought we were.
Of like, yeah, but okay, we should be pretending that it could be marketable, like mass marketable at some point. So yeah, winding down support for 2018 Focal smart glasses, and that Focals 2.0 is effectively canceled. Wow. That's brutal.
So what do you think that means? Is that because Google is going to be incorporating their tech like right away, or they were losing money?
I don't know. It's always hard to say with these like these private investment or private acquisition deals, like what was actually going on. I was having a really interesting conversation. I forget who it was with, but apparently the number of companies that list publicly these days compared to just working with like private equity firms or private investors is dwindling. And it has to do with all the regulatory burden that comes from going public. I've had viewers tell me like, hey, you know, when are you taking Linus Media Group Incorporated public so that I can...
Not even close to that size.
So that I can invest in it. And I'm like, never, because I don't, you know, like if I make an honest accounting mistake, or I send out an ill-advised tweet in the middle of the night because I'm, you know, I don't drink, so I'd have to be sleep deprived or something. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm gonna take it back private. I've already got a buyer, and then I end up investigated and it cost millions of dollars, whatever. I don't need any of that in my life. Like,
well, we also don't need fundraising.
Yeah, we also,
that's why you go public, right? It's
yes.
to raise funds. So what would we buy with that? Marquez.
Yeah, sure. We'll just buy up all the other YouTube channels.